It started on a quiet Friday night. One of those evenings that feel too still, too ordinary. The kind where you can sense that something beneath the surface isn't quite right. I was sitting on the couch, a half-finished movie playing in the background. The room dim except for the faint glow of my phone. She had left earlier that evening, saying she was going to meet a few co-workers for a late dinner. I hadn't questioned it at first. We'd been married long enough that trust had become routine. But lately, that trust had started to feel like a mask I was forcing myself to wear. One crack away from crumbling. At exactly 9:14 p.m., my phone buzzed. A message from her. "I'm with Jake tonight." Just like that. No context, no explanation. I stared at the screen, reading it over and over again. Jake, the name that had been coming up more often than I liked. "He's just a colleague," she had said once, laughing, brushing it off like it was nothing. But that message, that short, careless sentence, told me everything I needed to know. Not just that something was wrong, but that she thought she could get away with it. I didn't call. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I leaned back, my heartbeat slowing down instead of speeding up. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't always hit like a bullet. Sometimes it seeps in like poison. I'd suspected something for weeks. Her late nights, the sudden showers before bed, the way her phone never left her hand, even when she slept. So, when I saw that text, I didn't panic. I smiled because finally, I had proof and an opportunity to end her little game on my terms. For a few minutes, I just stared at the empty living room. The irony of it all struck me. The wedding photos on the wall, the candle she had lit that morning, the way she had kissed me goodbye without even looking into my eyes. I could still smell her perfume on the pillow beside me mixed with something hollow like the scent of someone who was already gone. And then slowly, deliberately, I typed my reply. "No problem. Tell Jake I said thanks. She's all yours now." I hit send and tossed the phone aside. I didn't need to see her reaction to know the kind of storm those words would unleash. I knew her too well. The control freak in her, the one who thrived on being adored, admired, untouchable, wouldn't know what to do when someone simply stopped caring. And that's exactly what I wanted her to feel. Not anger, not regret, but irrelevance. A few minutes later, my phone lit up again, then again. And again, calls, messages, the same name flashing over and over. I ignored them all. I turned the volume down and let her panic fill the silence because somewhere between her lies and her arrogance, she had forgotten what it meant to lose something real. And now, for the first time, she was about to remember. By the time I finally checked my phone, there were 16 missed calls and a flood of messages. "It's not what you think. Please pick up." I didn't mean it like that. Each one more desperate than the last. The woman who had confidently texted me just an hour earlier had transformed into someone terrified, someone who realized she had pushed too far. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. I opened our shared banking app and transferred half of our joint savings into my personal account. Money I had quietly set aside for years in case forever didn't last. Then I went to the bedroom, opened her closet, and began neatly folding her things into boxes. I didn't shout. I didn't break anything. I just worked in silence, the same kind she had left me in for months. When I finished, I placed her wedding ring, the one she had stopped wearing on weekends, on top of the boxes. An hour later, I heard the sound of her car screeching into the driveway. The door burst open. "Please," she gasped, running toward me, eyes wide, hair disheveled, still wearing that same dress she'd left in earlier. "It's not like that." "It's not." She stopped mid-sentence when she saw the boxes. When she saw the ring, when she realized I hadn't yelled, I just stood there calm, composed, and said quietly, "I know that's the problem." "It's exactly like that." Her voice cracked. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "Jake means nothing," she stammered, tears spilling down her face. "It was just a stupid mistake." I looked at her for a long moment, then said, "No, a mistake is tripping on a step." This was a choice, over and over again. She sank to her knees, then sobbing, repeating my name like it would undo everything she'd done. But there was no magic left in her words. Not anymore. Did I walk to the door, paused, and turned once more to look at her, broken, shaking, clinging to the life she had so easily thrown away. You texted me, "I'm with Jake tonight," I said softly. You didn't realize that message would be the last one you'd ever send as my wife. Then I left just like that. No grand speech, no revenge, just silence, the kind that speaks louder than anger ever could. The next morning, she tried to call again. I didn't answer. I didn't need to, because her little game, her flirtations, her lies, her late-night excuses had ended exactly the way it was always going to, with her realizing that the person she thought would always forgive her finally walked away. And that, more than anything, was the one thing she never saw.